Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Maggie, and for today's video I really want to talk about the Danessa Myricks Groundwork Defining Neutrals palette. And it's quite an interesting palette, but I've had a bit of a roller coaster with this palette for the past few days, and that's why I thought it would be a good idea for me to make this video and talk about how I got on with this palette. To start off with the packaging, it comes in this really nice magnetic palette. It has a mirror and it has 10 shades, so they're all neutral colors. And then there's two formulas. So there's a velvet pomade and there's the shape and fix powder, and for each shade you have the two formulas. And this is meant to be used on your eyes, your eyebrows, your cheeks, to sculpt your face. So it's a face and eye, kind of all over face palette, I think. That's what drew me to this palette, because I figured, you know, if I have one palette that I can do most of my face with, then packing my makeup bag whenever I do my makeup in the car will be so much easier, because then I just put this in with a few of the other products that I take, like my lipstick or some bling for my eyes or something like that, and then I pack light. But it's not as simple as I thought it would be, because the formula for these pomades have really been perplexing me. And I'm going to bring it a bit closer. And if you have a look, it's kind of like a clay putty kind of texture. So whenever you, whenever you press into it, it moves around. It's like a putty, and it doesn't really transfer much on the fingers. And it's taken me a bit of time to figure out how to use this properly. The nice thing about it is that it blends really well. So if you just take a brush and you blend, then it blends out perfectly. And so it's really difficult to make a mess of your face, I would say, with this. But it's also really challenging, at least it was for me. I first tried it with my fingers, and I just want to show you. So let me take one of the deeper shades, and if I do this, it does come on, and but it doesn't transfer as easily. But like I said, in terms of blending, it blends quite nicely. So it's really difficult to mess up, I would say, with this formula. But doing my eyes the first few times, I was really like, what's going on? Because of my trial and error with this palette, for today's video, I want to show you what went wrong or what confused me the first few times when I used this palette. And then I will show you what I think is a better way of using it, because this is what I tried yesterday and it worked so much better. I've come in a little bit closer. I don't have any makeup on my face. When I first tried this with my fingers, I believe I went in with the shade Core. So I kind of tried to get some on my finger, and then it did transfer, but it's so subtle that I was wondering, is this how it's supposed to be, or am I doing something wrong? But what really intrigues me about this formula is that once it's blended, it looks so skin-like. It kind of like blends into the skin and it looks so natural that I'm really interested in trying out this formula until I get it right, because the finish is beautiful. It's flawless. It's easier to see what I mean when I go in with something lighter like sandstone and I put that here and I blend it out. It's definitely brightened, but it's so skin-like and it blends so beautifully that this formula is very intriguing for me. And as far as I know, it's buildable. So I think if you go in a bit more, it will build. So it has brightened, but it looks so natural. And it's not glowy or, you know, it's not super matte. It's like skin. It feels like skin. And even though I'm using a lighter color, it doesn't make it look like I've used too light of a color, even though this is the lightest color in the palette. It still gives me a bit of brightening and it still looks very natural. And this is the reason why I'm so intrigued by this palette and I want to play around with these pomades. But I'm not a fan of using my fingers. I tried a brush and I got a little bit of more color with this round flat brush. You have to really like stab it in there. And this worked better, but sometimes this brush was a bit too patchy for me. What really worked well was this kind of flatter brush for me. And I'm going to start on this eye with this brush. I'm going to go in with sandstone again. And if I kind of scrape it on the brush, then it does pick it up. And that gives me a lot more color payout. The type of brush that you use is also important with this palette, because some brushes don't pick it up, and I have no idea. I think this is synthetic, but I'm pretty sure this brush that I got from a Clinique palette is also synthetic, so I have no idea what is being used on the bristles. But this is the Docolor brush that I got from Shein, and it just works so much better. So whatever was left on my brush, I built it up here, and you can see a big difference using this brush than using the other one. I've wiped up the excess product and I'm going to show you how I created a smoky eye with this product yesterday using this synthetic Docolor brush. I'm going to start with core, and again I kind of really press into it and sort of scrape it because that actually picks up the product. And I'm going to use core as a base. I wiped off the brush and I'm going to go in with bark. And it's so easy to create a smoke. And to blend it, I'm just going to use just a normal tapered brush. I'm going to build it up a little bit more. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to add a bit of brightness on the inner corner. And then I'm going to go in with Harvest on the center lid. I'm going to go in with powder. And also Mirage powder. I'm going to go back in with Sandstone on the brow bone and I'll blend that out now. I'm going to go in with the black, which is called Tourmaline. And it's and it's also really easy to correct if you go a bit too far. I just use a tapered brush and it blends in. And it looks so natural. It looks like my skin still, but it just blends into that deeper, smokier outer eye. This is how I created a smoky eye yesterday and I loved it. So I'm going to come in even closer and show you what it looks like. What I really like about it is that it looks like my skin, and because I have hooded eyes, my eyes crease a lot, but this product doesn't crease. It's blended on, I guess, the layer of my skin, and even though my eyes fold, it doesn't crease. I'm going to use Bark with a flat, this is a flat angled brush, and you kind of have to do the same thing, kind of scrape it in there, the angle, right? And I just kind of this does work really well for the brows, and it doesn't move during the day. And I've used this on my brows, the pomade, and I have used it, pomade and the powder afterwards, and just the pomade alone, and either way it hasn't budged. I'm just going to use a spoolie. I'm going to use the Clarins tinted serum today. For today's makeup, I'm just going to use Velveteen Affair. I want to come back to this Groundwork palette for shaping and a little bit of, I guess, bronzing. I found that this shade Sculpted works really well. You'll see that it's quite a subtle shadow, but it's a lovely color for a shadow. I do my best to try and get some of the powder on it, but because the pans are so small for the powder, it's a little bit difficult. But I do kind of try to get a bit of the powder in on the brush afterwards. I'm gonna go in with Core. I'm gonna use this coral-ish kind of orangey shade as a blush. I'm gonna press my brush. I'm going to finish with mascara. And I'm gonna go in with some Sorcery gloss. This is my finished neutral look using the Danessa Myricks Groundworks palette, and it creates a really stunning neutral vibe, and you can certainly use this with other products to get, you know, non-neutral looks, but I kept it neutral today to stay in line with the palette. And another thing that I'd like to note is, because these pans are so, especially like the powders are so small, they mess a lot on the side. These pans do come out and they're quite easy to remove. So I don't know if you'll be able to buy refills of these. It'll be really cool if you can. The name of it is in the back and it has a magnet and they just slot in. The same with the powder. It also just slots in. I think that's a nice touch. I really hope that we will get refills. Overall, this wasn't the easiest palette for me to get into. Now that I know that these Docolor brushes work well with the pomade, I think I'll be able to create better looks with them. And I do want to mix and match this with other types of products to create different looks. The formula itself is quite interesting. It's like a putty. What interests me the most is that when it's blended onto the skin, it just looks like your skin. And it's quite easy to blend it with the other colors or blend it on its own. So there's a lot that I'm excited to still play with when it comes to this palette. I just thought I would make this video because I struggled the first few times, and I figured since it's kind of working for me now, maybe some of you are struggling and want to know what I'm doing. Maybe it helps you. I hope so. If you have any other tips on using this palette, please let me know. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say at the moment. I love the way the formula looks on my skin. I just think that it's a little bit tricky to use at first. But aside from that, I'm still quite interested in playing around with this. I've used every shade in this palette. I think I'll get good use out of this palette, but I do want to also note that if you're looking for something that helps you do your makeup quickly, I don't think that this is the palette for that. Maybe if I get better at it, I'll be quicker. But at the moment, there's a bit of a learning curve of using this formula and knowing what works well with your skin. It takes me a bit more time to put on makeup with this palette. And honestly, I can do my makeup quicker using other products, but then I carry more products in my makeup bag when I do my makeup in the car. So the whole reason why I really was interested in buying this palette is because I figured, you know, with all of these colors and how versatile it is, I can do my makeup in the car with fewer products in my makeup bag. And it has worked. Yesterday, I did my makeup in the car using just my Clarins Tinted Oleo Serum. This makeup palette and the Violette FR Bisou Balm. And I didn't take mascara with me, so I didn't put on mascara yesterday. But these three products, it gave me a very natural, no makeup look. And I only used 3 products with a few brushes in my makeup bag, and that was it. So I think it can get better. I think I can be quicker, but I think I need practice using this palette to be quicker with it. If you are interested in my journey with this palette, you can follow me on Instagram, and I'll probably give you tidbits of information on my Instagram as I learn more or as I try different looks using this palette. I hope that this video was helpful to you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again on my channel. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to see more beauty content from me, please subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.